Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning to those that are watching us online and to everyone that's here today. We are Buffalo strong. We're out of the storm and into the into a new day. So, welcome, good morning. Welcome to Unity of Buffalo, a positive path for spiritual living. We're grateful that you're joining us today. If you have a cell phone, we invite you to silence your phone so you can be fully present. And today we have a new guest musician joining us. Her name is Beth Gatchell. And welcome, Beth.
Thank you.
I want to just tell you a little bit about Beth, and I want to thank Mary Beth for helping us make this connection. Beth lives in the Cleveland area. She provides music for a local Unity church there, so we were fortunate to get her on this one Sunday when she's not working with that other church. She works with a business or agency called Sage Yoga and Healing Arts that serves the Akron area and beyond. And her job title, I think I'm going to add this to my title, is Chief Joy Officer. So we have the Chief Joy Officer joining us this morning. And she does a lot of the things that many of us are into, yoga and qigong and Reiki and healing arts and chanting, and she's a singer-songwriter. So I want to welcome you, Beth. It's good to see you online. And you all should have a song sheet, I hope, so that we can sing along if you'd like. Her opening song is Spirit Calls. In fact, why don't we stand for this? Beth, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so
Good to see
much.
us.
Good morning, Unity of Buffalo. So the opening song this morning is Spirit Calls by Ginger Curry. So the chorus is Spirit Calls, come up higher. Spirit Calls, singing I believe. Spirit Calls, come up higher. Love lifts us high and sets us free. Spirit calls, come up higher. Spirit calls, singing I believe. Spirit calls, come up higher. God lifts us high and sets us free. Spirit calls, come up higher. Spirit calls, singing I believe. Spirit calls, come up higher. God lifts us high and sets us free. Sets us free. From all lack and limitation, sets us free. Realize who we can be. We are made in the image and the likeness of God. Spirit comes, so stand up and believe. Spirit calls, come up higher. Spirit calls, singing I believe. Spirit calls, come up higher. God lifts us high and sets us free. Spirit calls, come up higher. Spirit calls, singing I believe. Spirit calls, come up higher. God lifts us high and sets us free. Sets us free. From all lack and limitation, sets us free. Realize who we can be. We are made in the image and the likeness of God. Spirit calls, so stand up and believe. Spirit calls, come up higher. Spirit calls, singing I believe. Spirit calls, come up higher. God lifts us high and sets us free. Spirit calls, come up higher. Spirit calls, singing I believe. Spirit calls, come up higher. God lifts us high and sets us free. Lifts us high and sets us free. Lifts us high and sets us free.
Thank you, Beth.
My pleasure.
So if you came in a few minutes late, you might not have heard, but one of Beth's job titles is Chief Joy Officer. So she's bringing some joy to our service this morning, and I love that background. A lot of color and light. Thank you, Beth.
My pleasure.
So let's begin with an opening prayer, if you'll join me in taking a deep breath and just knowing that we're out of the storm. It's a new day is dawning. We come together with open hearts, open minds, a sense for the infinite possibility of good that lies within us, before us, and all around us. And so Spirit has called us here this morning, whether we're online or in person, to connect, to be community, to be love, and to expand our circle of awareness, practice, and connection. And so it is. Amen. So, please join me in affirming our invocation, the core foundational principle of unity. Together, there is only one presence and one power living as the universe and as me, God the good, omnipotent. And we also affirm our vision, mission, and core values, that the foundation of all that we do, the reason we're here, what we're growing into. And this is our vision together, a world of love, peace, and abundance for all, no exceptions. And our mission is practicing the presence of God through prayer, education, service, creativity, and community. And showing up together, expressing these values, loving, spiritually centered, inclusive, respectful, and compassionate. And our evolutionary purpose is transforming lives and inspiring people to make a positive difference in the world. And so today for our daily word reading, I think it is Nikki is going to come forward, and she's a good embodiment of the word for today. She always expresses energy and enthusiasm.
Thank you. Thank you, Reverend Mary. Is this on? I'm sorry.
I think so.
I'm sorry.
You'll have to
Okay.
stand right close to it.
Good morning, Unity. It is.
Good morning.
The theme for today, as Reverend Mary said, is energetic for Sunday, January 31st, 2024. The affirmation is, the limitless energy of spirit flows through me. I smile as I watch children at play. Their boundless energy seems so natural, so effortless. When I want to reclaim the same zeal and enthusiasm for myself, I remember these divine gifts are already within me. Centered in this awareness, I feel renewed vitality. As I take care of my family, move through my workday, enjoy time with dear loved ones, or volunteer in my community, I engage it all with enthusiasm and feel my energy build. If I feel my enthusiasm faltering, I don't despair. Instead, I pause for a moment to feel the quickening energy of spirit, the divine life and strength that are flowing through me. As I am revitalized, the whole world feels new. I shimmer with energy and go about doing all I feel called to do. May you be made strong with all the strength that comes from this glorious power. Colossians chapter 1, verse 11. And if you can recite with me the affirmation on the screen. The limitless energy of spirit flows through me. Have a blessed and energetic week.
Okay.
Go Bills, go Bills.
I can see that energy flowing through you. And, I'll just have to tell you, when I read that affirmation, I couldn't resist adding this one more statement to our readings for today. Charles Fillmore, our co-founder, I said this when he was in his 90s. And you can say it with me. I fairly sizzle with zeal and enthusiasm and spring forth with a mighty faith to do the things that are to be done by me today. So when I think about an example of that, one person that comes to mind right away is Christy Stevens, and our staff that serve our ministry. And so Joyce is going to present the gift that represents the generosity of our congregation.
Christy, would you like to come up and meet me up on this podium?
Go, Christy. Go, Christy.
On behalf of Unity of Buffalo, we'd like to give you this little bonus from the ending of 23 to a beginning of 24. And we hope that you will spend it well.
I will.
Thank you. We'd like to give you our Unity blessing, okay?
We
We love you,
We
we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ in you. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome, dear.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you all.
Okay, Nikki's got to do her job. Speech.
This has been such a wonderful experience working here, and I appreciate you all so much. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, we thank your mother for helping us make this connection. And I also want to say that we also gave a portion of the gifts to Lorraine, our bookkeeper, and Sarah, our custodian, and they were very, very appreciative, very grateful, and expressed the same thing. So although they're not here on Sundays, they are an integral part of our ministry, and they do very important work for us. So thank you for all of that. Okay, so we have weathered the storm, I hope, and we're moving out of the storm, and it made me think about, that we're here today, and, there's a joke that I think I may have shared this, I don't know, about a woman that found herself stranded in her car in a snowstorm, but she didn't panic. She stayed calm, and she remembered what her father had told her. If you're ever stranded in a snowstorm or you can't see very far in front of you, just wait until a snowplow comes along and then follow that snowplow. So she did that, and sure enough, a snowplow came along, and for 45 minutes she followed that snowplow, followed it. Finally, the driver of the truck stopped, and he got out and he went over and knocked on her window. He said, "What are you doing?" And she explained that her dad always told her, if you're ever in a snowstorm, you can't see very far ahead, follow the snowplow. And he said, "Well, okay, I've finished with this parking lot here at Walmart. I'm going over to the Best Buy lot now. You can follow me there if you want." But so she had just been following him back and forth to the airport. But you might think about, well, what is it you were following that led you to be here today? Why was it important for you to be here this morning? It's like, some of us have been in the house for 4 or 5 days or more and haven't been out. And so I just invite you to take a moment and wonder, why was it important for you to make the extra effort or to join us online, to be here online? And you might turn to a neighbor one-on-one and share something briefly, or if you're online, type it into the chat. Why was it important for you to come online and watch our service this morning? Some of you were here even double duty. You were here yesterday for the spirit groups. So let's bring some voices into the room. Would anybody like to share briefly why was it important for you to make the extra effort to be here today? Judy? To be in this wonderful, positive energy. Yes. Yeah. Michelle?
To be with all my spiritual family.
Yeah, to be with your peeps.
Unless I'm here.
Oh, thank you. To be with your spiritual family, that it just makes a difference for the week.
My wife's making me get up.
Okay, well, that's good. Clem said his wife made him get up and come. Well, it's good. Sometimes we have somebody in our life that nudges us. Latasha?
Well, I have to be at work all week, even on Sunday. I didn't have to go Sunday, but I did, Girl Scout honor. But just being in the storm all week, just a good day to be able to
Yeah,
be in the presence of everyone.
yeah, to be in the,
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah, yeah, you know, if you've been working all week or dealing with the storm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Max, how about you?
The reason I'm here is because of the glorious sunshine.
The glorious sunshine, yeah. Here comes the sun. Susan?
I'm here because it's important for me to be around people that love me and accept me for who I am.
Oh, great. Susan said it's important for her to be around people who love her and accept her for just who she is. Yeah. Vicki?
I always get something out of the service.
Oh.
And plus, I like being in the community of people
Uh-huh.
who worship the same way I do.
Oh, good. Yeah, Vicki said she likes being in a community with people and being with people who worship the same way she does. Christy, is there any comments online that you can? Not yet. Okay, they're being kind of shy or quiet today. Anybody else? Mike?
Great way to start the week.
It's a great way to start the week. Eve?
I have two good reasons for being here.
Okay.
The first one is that I brought soup yesterday that I put on the stove so it'll be ready for
Okay.
after church
Okay.
today. And the second is to get an extra boost of faith and prayer for the Bills.
Okay. Well, so one is.
Kansas City, crush Kansas City, here we go.
Okay. So one is we're expanding our faith and confidence in the Bills this afternoon, and she heated up her soup that she brought yesterday. So there's definitely food downstairs for after our service.
Anthony.
Okay. You got one, Christy, or?
Yeah, Anthony Schroeder.
Tony. Hey, Tony. Online?
He said, to listen to the great unity principles and to be a part of something so positive and love-filled.
Oh, great. We love you, Tony.
And then Sheila Hudson said, spiritual food.
Spiritual food. Okay, we love you, Sheila. Yeah. Sheila. Thank you. So, all these are really good reasons. And you know, it occurred to me also that maybe it's just possible that your soul led you here today. That there was a yearning somewhere in your soul to be with community or be spiritually fed or connect. And whether you're in person or online, that it's your soul that's leading you forward. And so that's part of what I want to talk about today is understanding the essence of our soul. This book that we're using for our spirit groups, this current series that's channeled by Christine Bush, and it's about our soul. How is our soul leading us forward into experiences and helping us grow and unfold? And I thought maybe this would be a good opportunity to take a few minutes and just kind of explore, what do we mean when we say channeling? You know, that word is used a lot, and Christine wrote up something that she shared with the spirit groups as a matter of introduction, and I just thought, with her permission, I wanted to share a little bit of that today. That, because it's a term that we hear used a lot, and Christine says that channeling, for her, is nothing more than opening up to the sources of information that are beyond our physical 3D world. You know, that there is a whole wealth of wisdom, of infinite understanding and knowledge that is beyond just, you know, what's here on what we can see or touch or feel. You know, and really, she says channeling is really very common, and there's many ways to do it, and a lot of us have experienced it. We just maybe didn't call it that. You know, an artist, when they get inspiration to create a painting, or when you get an insight or an idea about something, you know, sometimes we use that expression, out of the blue. You know, out of the blue, I had an idea for a story I wanted to share on Sunday, or, you know, when I'm doing something else, you know, and it can be sudden, unexpected, without warning, coming out of left field, or expressions that are sometimes used. But, you know, I thought unexpected. You know, something that's unexpected is sometimes what we say about inspiration or an insight. But I'd like to suggest that we can change that a little bit. We can start to expect it. We can set the intention to be open to insight and revelation. To say, I'm going to set the intention today that God's going to speak to me in some way, and I'm going to recognize it. I think Florence Scovel Shinn said, but it's going to come in a way that I can't possibly miss it. You know, the message, and so it doesn't have to even be unexpected. You know, we've over the years done something called the Unexpected Income Program, where we set the intention to be open to unexpected blessings and income. And, you know, sometimes I've had people say, oh, no, I can't do that. I'm not expecting anything unexpected. And I say, well, that's the problem. Stop it. Start expecting, being open to unexpected as well as expected gifts. And so, you know, Christine, you know, talked about that there are various ways to, quote, channel. You know, she's a voice channel. Sometimes it comes through automatic writing. She considers herself a light trance channel is the term, meaning that she's conscious and she's aware of everything that's coming through her, and she's aware of things that are going on, and she remembers it. But there are some people that are what's called a deep trance channel, and Edgar Cayce was a really good example of that he would lie down and go into this deep trance, and he'd have to have somebody sitting next to him writing it all down, because when he came out of the trance, he had no memory of what he had said or what had gone on around him while he was in this trance. So it can happen in lots of different ways, but I wanted to just kind of share a few things that really sort of jumped out at me from the reading for the first few chapters, and one of them was, you know, something we talk about a lot, that everything that comes before us has a purpose. You know, that even challenging circumstance, sometimes it's hard to accept, well, why is this person in my life, or why is this, but that everything has a purpose. And that we're always, the nature of energy is to want to expand. But we're always having that choice point of, do we choose something that expands our energy or contracts? You know, and I think we kind of know what the difference feels, you know, when we choose to expand, being open-hearted, or being more accepting, or forgiving, or inclusive, or generous. How can I give more? And when we're in contraction mode, we're more in fear. We're sort of holding back, or being withholding, or judgmental. But one of the things I've been learning about sort of levels of consciousness, and what Ken Wilber and others refer to as second-tier consciousness, is getting to the place where you can kind of hold the space for all points of view. For, you know, he says everyone is right, at least to some extent. So, well, we practice that a little bit, and Ginny and I have been reading a book where they suggest using the statement, well, that's an interesting point of view. You know, when something comes up that you may not agree with, or you have a hard time accepting, and rather than judging it or being wrong, or, oh, I'm against that person, that's an interesting point of view. I can just let that kind of simmer for a little bit. That would be an example of being expansive rather than contracting. And so one of the things I kind of wanted to add to this, to what this book is offering about our soul, because we read it and we often think about our own individual soul, but I believe that organizations have a soul too. That our ministry, Unity of Buffalo, every church has a soul. It has a life energy. It has a past. It has maybe it has a pain body of some things that haven't fully healed. And it has a divine impulse and something within it that's calling it forward, that wants to expand and evolve and stretch and grow. So I see a lot of parallels actually between, what she's talking about, understanding the nature of our soul, and thinking about the soul of our organization, of Unity of Buffalo. So as you know, I'm going through a training program on the integral ministry practice. And it's really about thinking about that, we talk how important it is to have individual spiritual practices, like what are some of our practices, meditation and prayer and spiritual study and community and service. But an organization has to have spiritual practices too, that as an organization, we have to do some things that help us grow and expand. And we're going to introduce one of them today. We're going to learn about a new spiritual, well, it may not be new, but a spiritual practice for a ministry. But, so we could say really that the integral ministry practice is a set of spiritual practices that help an organization be intentional about creating the space where transformation and evolution occur. And a lot of these things we're already doing, spirit groups and the quantum living process and other things, and we'll be adding some enhancements to it. But for now, one of the important things to understand is that foundational to this is, everything, we always, wherever we are as an individual or organizations or groups or families, have a world view. And this is, what many people consider sort of the highest, high level of a world view, is saying that the world is a place for individual and collective unfoldment. This is kind of our job, to grow and unfold, not to stay static, not to be stuck, but to keep expanding. And there's a lot of pieces to this. And so, we'll I'll give you little bits of it over time. But one of the aspects of this is learning to listen to the soul of the organization. Just as we need to listen to our own soul. I talked about maybe there was something in your soul that led you to get up this morning and come and be here or be online. Well, we can learn to listen to the soul of our ministry and how is it wanting to evolve and express. And one of the ways is kind of sensing and responding. But today I just kind of wanted to give us a broad overview of this. And, what is it that kind of gets in the way of our evolving, that kind of keeps us stuck or keeps us wanting to move back instead of forward? And two of the things that right are at the top of the list are, one is just not understanding the importance of development. The development comes from the inside out, that we have to develop a spiritual and emotional maturity. We have to learn to be present to discomfort, to being in the mystery of things, not knowing, I'm going to show up this morning. I don't know what she's going to talk about. I don't know what the lesson's going to be today. I'm just going to trust that it's going to be good. There'll be something that I can take away from it that'll be of value to me this week. But so one is just not understanding the importance of our own inner development or not knowing how to do it. And so that's what, but the whole process of growth and evolution is moving out of victimhood into knowing our oneness, knowing the truth of who we are. We evolve. We often start in a place of thinking life happens to me. Stuff happens to me. Somebody offended me. Somebody did something. Somebody, cut me off. And then we get to the point, well, life happens by me. I can make things better. I'm going to set my goals for the year. And then we go to life happens through me. And then life happens as me. That we can be the eye of the storm. We can be present to whatever's going on and know that it's not about what's out there. It's about what's in here. So these are some of the things, and I just want to share with you one principle of emergence. That we often use these words interchangeably, emergence or evolution or evolving. And one of the principles is novelty, just to know that the whole often comes together from the parts, that when the whole that comes together from the parts is absolutely unpredictable, then it means that sometimes 1 + 1 doesn't always equal 2. That there's a synergy of things that come together so that 1 + 1 might equal 10 or 15 or something, that by beginning to make the effort to take a step forward to say, I'm willing to try something new. I'm willing to reach out. I'm willing to join with somebody who's, got a different idea than I am, has got an interesting point of view. And I don't know what's going to unfold, but it may be, it's like, have you ever had an experience in life where you look back and you thought, wow, that turned out a lot better than I expected it was going to. You had to have a conversation with someone, or you went to a party or meet some people and you were kind of dreading it. You didn't think you'd have much in common, and then you walk away and say, wow, that was way better than I expected. There was something unfolded there. There was some greater energy that was working in and through that brought something forth. And so it's just sort of knowing that there's a serendipity, there's a synchronicity, there's something that is at work that when we take one step forward, the universe takes 2 or 3 or 4 steps forward to meet us. And it's also just remembering that there is an intelligence of the universe built into us. Jesus said it was the kingdom of God is within, that we have access to this wisdom. And it's the kind of thing that I think, that Christine is tapping into with this book. And, in Unity, we refer to that as the realm of divine mind, of infinite ideas, of all knowledge, all understanding, all wisdom. So now is the part in the service where I want to introduce a new spiritual practice for our ministry. And it's the practice of sharing transformational stories. That, what I've been learning, one thing I learned recently is that rather than me trying to define for you, this is what transformation is, here's the right word, here's the definition or description. It's better to let people define it for themselves. And the best way to do that is through sharing our experience, sharing a story of how something happened, how you were, something you learned here or something you encountered, that it made a big difference in your life. And so I'm expecting that we can maybe have a transformational story time once a month. And Kathy Dole also gave me a story, but I'm saving it till she gets back from Florida so she can share it with you directly. But we have someone who has stepped forward and shared with me a wonderful story that I thought, that's too good to just keep between you and I, that it needs to be shared with the congregation. And so I want to invite Mary Beth to come forward now to share her story of a transformation that happened in her life.
Good morning. Good morning, Beth. I'm so happy you're doing our music today. It was wonderful. Thank you. Good morning. So my story time starts about 14 years ago when I first walked through these doors. And it was a time of expansion for my soul. I was just delighted to be here, and so many things were happening and shifting, and I had so many opportunities. And at the same time, there was a big contraction of my soul because my dearly beloved, bestest ever friend since we were 14, she wasn't excited that I came to this church because we shared a faith that we grew up in together. And unlike most people at that time, we still were connected to that faith. We were still growing in that faith. We shared that faith with each other. And it wasn't the only part of our friendship, but it was an integral part of our friendship. So when I shared that I was not going to that church anymore, she had a hard time with that. And I can't say that I blame her, because if the roles had been reversed, I think I would have felt betrayal. If she left and I stayed, I think I would have been angry and betrayed. And I thought it would have probably been my role to get her to straighten up and fly right and get back on track. And she didn't do that to me, but there was a change in our friendship. There was quite a rift. And this went on for about 14 years. And it was a sore that was just festering, and it just hurt me so much, because when I think back on it, like, I conveniently waited till both my parents were deceased before I left the church that I was raised in. So I probably needed somebody to disapprove. So a part of me feels like I projected her disapproval on her. But anyway, time went on and we just grew farther and farther apart. We stayed in touch, but it just wasn't the same. And then one day, out of the blue, a third friend contacted both of us. She sent us both a group text and said, "Hey, I haven't seen you guys in years. Let's get together soon." And I read the text and I was like, I'm going away on a trip, a big trip, in a couple of weeks I'll be going, and I've got to prepare for it and I'll be gone. So I said, I can't, I'm going to Greece and blah, blah, blah. And as soon as I sent that text message, the phone rang, and it was my former best friend. And out of the blue, it was completely different. Our hearts, we were just in sync again. It was like nothing happened, there was authenticity and love between us and just joy to connect. And I was so grateful. And we got together, and just, as she said, I'm so glad we're back to being us. So we just connected. And at the time, I was so happy that it happened. I didn't question why it happened. But as we got to the end of the year, I wonder what happened. What shifted? Clearly something shifted, whether it was in me or in her or both of us, or something. What was it? And I couldn't identify what it was. So I was sort of praying that I would get some insight on this. And one night I reached into my nightstand table, and I felt this small box. It was like the sides of an Altoid box. And as soon as I put my hand on it, I knew exactly what it was. It was my God box. But I couldn't remember, and we got these God boxes in June when the prayer chaplains were rededicated. And I knew I put a couple of things in there, but I couldn't remember what I put in there. So I opened it up and I read that I had requested healing for that relationship. And I don't know what this word means, but I'm going to use it anyway. It's a British word. I was gobsmacked. I mean, I was just like, oh my goodness. Wow. So I shared this story with Reverend Mary, and she's like, oh, you've got to share that story. And so I was writing it out, and something was missing. And I said, I know, I need to talk to somebody. I need to talk to somebody about this story. And that's another great thing about Unity is there's so many people with such great wisdom that you can tune into. And I talked to my friend Judy Seal, and I told her the story. And she said, well, I didn't even ask her any questions. She just said, well, when you pray, you know, as a prayer chaplain, we're taught to pray and hold our prayers with the consciousness of God as best we can. So we try to get into this space of remembering how connected we are and how the presence is always present. And then we pray. But then we're also human, so we kind of forget about the prayer and we let it go. But when we put something in here, we exercise our faith, and then God's got it. God handles it. And honestly, I don't know. Does God really handle it? Maybe God just knows there's nothing to handle because we're all one. But as humans, we don't remember that. I mean, I sure did not feel as one with her. And so after I talked with Judy, and she reminded me that, you know, it's God's consciousness. We're giving this over to God, and it's always being worked on. But then I thought about that, like, well, what role do I play in that? And that's when I realized that I had this insight about really being a co-creator with God, because God handled it if there was anything to handle. I don't even think there was anything to handle. God just, there was nothing to handle. But I had to connect with my higher self and make some choices. So when we're human, when we're in these human bodies, we get to make choices as to how things we put in these boxes, how they're going to turn out. And the benefit of being human is we get to feel that joy of reconnecting with someone or whatever our prayer request is. And sometimes we get to feel the pain of seemingly not having our prayer request answered. But that's our job as humans. And and we're also partly divine. So when we turn it over to that divine part of ourselves, we also are open to letting the human part of ourselves, let that divine part in more fully. Because when I saw that it was her on the phone, I could have let it go to voicemail. I didn't have to answer it, but I did. And she didn't have to call me, but she did. And who knows, maybe if I didn't answer, maybe I wouldn't be here telling you this story, and I wouldn't have had that experience. So that experience, my soul expanded again. And as I wrote this story and reflected on it more fully, I realized that I'm really more grateful to be human than ever, because we are the expression of the divine, and we get to choose how we interact and how we feel and how much we're open to. So you might be wondering what the next thing I'm going to put in this box is. And it's going to be something like, let all the Buffalo Bill fans be really, 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 really happy and really, 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 really grateful as soon as possible, and especially on February 11th of 2024. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you. So thank you, Mary Beth. That was so heartfelt. And so this is an example of an organizational spiritual practice, making this a regular opportunity. And I just know that for each and every one of you, you have a story in you, some experience of how you've been changed by something that you've learned. And this is briefly the outline for a story. I think you did a beautiful job. What's the obstacle or challenge? How it impacted you? You know, wilderness turning point, what helped? What did you learn? Where are you now? And there's an outline over on the welcome table. I want to encourage you to pick up one and think about, you know, just the process of thinking about a story and putting it even in writing, even if you don't share it, I think can be transformational for yourself. But it's especially transformational when you share it with others. So we want to take some time to, there were a couple of words that one of the readings in the book as we move into our time of meditation, you did such a beautiful example, Mary Beth, that was just wonderful. But there was one reading where she repeats over and over again, trust and accept. Trusting and accepting. Trusting what comes to us, that there's always a purpose to it. You know, even when we're in the wilderness, to trust and accept and then choose love. So I want to move us now into our time of meditation. And Beth is going to lead us in a song. And I'll come back to other quote during the meditation. But Beth, this is your cue now. And are we singing the song, the second song on the sheet, Finding the Light?
Finding the Light. Yeah.
So let's...
Wow. Thank you for all that richness. Wow. So when Reverend Mary told me the topic today was transformation, I woke up at 6 in the morning. It was Thursday or Friday morning, with this song. It's called Finding the Light. It's a chant, so we'll just go through it a few times. I am finding the light from within, the light from within, without, above, below, and around me. I am finding the light from within, the light from within, without, above, below, and around me. I am finding the light from within, the light from within, without, above, below, and around me. I am finding the light from within, the light from within, without, above, below, and around me. I am finding the light from within, the light from within, without, above, below, and around.
light from within, without, above, below, and around
Thank you, Beth. And now, as we gently close in the light, I invite you to take a few deep breaths and find that light within you. The light is your soul that is always calling you up higher, that is encouraging you to open and expand, to trust and accept that all is well. And so I invite you for a few moments with the breath to just affirm, I am light. I am the light. I am light. And that light is pure, unconditional love and wisdom and illumination for our path. I am finding the light from within. I am light, and I have a lightness of being. I bring that to all that I do. And the message in this book says to us, take joy in your role to love. Approach each day with a joyful commitment to show love, to be an activist for love, to teach others how to love. You are well prepared for your role now. Go forth and love. Each and every one of you are divinely ordained, prepared for this role to be an activist for love. So I invite you to take a deep breath again as we move now to the time of blessing our prayer requests. And Vicki is our chaplain for today.
Okay. Okay.
We can just hold it here.
We're-
Hold it together, yeah.
Okay. We have the prayer box here with all the intentions that have been put in here by people in our congregation. If you haven't had a chance to put prayer requests in the box, you can put them in later, put them in mentally. Just all of our intentions are in this box, or represented by this box. And for these intentions, we expand from the place of our divine place inside ourselves. We expand out and up and around. And we say, oh God, Creator Spirit, we ask you to be aware of these intentions and to grant these in the best way possible. You know what that best way is. So we thank you, Spirit of the universe. Amen.
Thank you.
Okay.
And so now we have one more song with Beth, who's going to share with us a song.
If you'd like to join me for the chorus of this, it says, I am ready to begin. I am ready to deepen in. I am ready to begin. I am ready to deepen in.
I am ready to begin. I am ready to deepen in. I am ready to begin. I am ready to deepen in. Transform me, rearrange me, dissolve my fear in your fire. Burn my ire, help me get clear. Unfold me, realign me, and teach my soul. When I'm scared that it's just layers and inside I am whole. I am ready to begin. I am ready to deepen in. Transform me, rearrange me, dissolve my fear in your fire. Burn my ire, remind me and teach my soul. When I'm scared that it's just layers and inside I am whole. I am ready to begin. I am ready to deepen in. I am ready to begin. I am ready to deepen in. I am ready to begin. I am ready to deepen in.
Thank you, Beth. And so, Beth, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ in you. Our Chief Joy Officer, remind us to bring joy to all that we do. Thank you for blessing us with music today.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity. And thanks again to that sweet soul, Mary Beth, for connecting us.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, we don't have any newcomers here in person, but if there's someone watching online new, please type in the chat an email address or reach out to us so we can be connected with you. And Christy is monitoring the chat and responding as need be on that. So we'll move to our practicing generosity, an opportunity to share our gifts and tithes and generous giving. I like to think of it as thoughtful, generous giving from a grateful heart. So you can give in person today with cash, checks, anything else you'd like to give, and you can also give online through our website, the Donate Now button, or through being an automatic giver or through the mail. And we have several people who do that, many people. So let's bless our gifts given today and throughout the week and month. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Freely I give, and freely I receive. Thank you, God.
What do I want? What do I desire? What will bring me to my highest good? What do I want? What do I desire? What will bring me to my highest good? Prosperity, prosperity, I claim it, I claim it. Abundance, abundance is mine, is mine. Love, love flows through me, flows through me. I feel joy, I feel joy all the time, all the time. I can have it, I can have it. I deserve it, I deserve it. I claim it, I claim it. It is mine, it is mine.
And so let us affirm together that we bless these gifts, see them pressed down, shaken together, heaped up, and running over, return to every giver. Thank you, God. And also, I forgot to mention, if you would like to give today with a credit card, you can see Christy after the service, and she can take care of that. And also that Vicki will be in our Lighthouse Corner, available for one-on-one prayer after the service. I have a few transformational opportunities. One is that today at 11:30, we're having a Peace Park team meeting downstairs. Everybody's invited to attend, and even though it's winter, we're still thinking and actively doing things to improve and prepare the Peace Park for greater use in the spring. Next Sunday, we'll have the opening reception for the Kenmore Art Society art show with Unity Galleries. So thank you to everybody, and thank you, Judy, for making all these arrangements and the beautiful presentation. Next Monday, January 29th in the afternoon, Lynn and I will begin teaching the Eye of the Storm class, creating peace, embracing peace in the midst of a storm or conflict in your life or in your world. It's a powerful, that's an example of a transformational class, and we haven't offered it in a while, so it's time. You can also sign up over on the table for our next church outing, the first Sunday in March. March 1st, we're going to visit the AKG new art museum. Friday. First Friday in March, which we're not going to do it in February. First Friday in March, and it's March 1st. And I think we're going to get there in time for the 1:30 tour. We'll meet here.
There's plenty of time, but it's all information.
All the information's there.
Here in the parking lot, leave at 1, and the tour starts at 1:30.
And then
we can eat by, but if you sign up, you want to go for lunch afterwards or something to eat, so
yeah, there's a restaurant right in the museum, so we can all have lunch together. And
then it's free.
oh, the admission is free.
First Friday is free.
Yeah, that's why we're going the first Friday. It's free. Got to pay for the lunch, but that part's free. So that's.
I think the parking below. You go in and drive.
Oh, good. So, yeah, great. So if you have any questions, ask Mike. Thank you for organizing this, but sign up over there so we can have a count of how many are going. And there's lots more stuff in our email blast. Annabelle will be doing an immersive sound bath experience on Valentine's Day in the evening. You can sign up in advance and pay in advance or at the door. And we have friendship hour today. The coffee's brewing, there's food downstairs. So I think we are ready to close then. Let's form a circle and we'll sing our 2 songs and the closing prayer. And thank you for everybody that contributed to the service today. Oh, okay. And I didn't mention the announcements. Of course, you can still join the spirit groups. It's going on for 6 more weeks. So order the book online or just come on Saturdays. So now we're ready to begin.